US President Donald Trump says he will introduce new and additional 25% tariffs on all steel and aluminium imports into the United States on top of existing metal duties in another major escalation of his trade policy overhaul. The largest sources of US steel imports are Canada, Brazil, and Mexico, followed by South Korea and Vietnam, while Canada contributes nearly 79% of total aluminium imports into the United States. To decode this news piece and to understand how will it impact India, we now have Aditya Welekar, Senior Research Analyst at Metals and Auto at Axis Securities, now joining us. Aditya, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now. And first up, tell us, will increased tariffs on imports into US impact global trade balance? What does this news piece mean for Indian exporters back home?
Yeah, good afternoon. So I guess the first reaction for commodities is that this disrupts the supply chain, overall supply chain for the global commodities. So I will go first with aluminium. So as you said that Canada is one of the largest supplier of aluminium to US with almost 70 to 80% of supply coming from Canada. So that will immediately reflect into higher physical premiums in US. That premium is called as Midwest Aluminium Premium. And if you see that premium has already gone up from the level of $400 per ton to 620 now, currently as we speak. So that is translating into higher physical premiums in the US market. As far as ex-US aluminium prices are concerned, so as we discussed that Canada is the largest exporter of aluminium to US. So if that is getting slightly restricted, then the Canadian aluminium smelters will look for exporting their metal to Europe or some other countries. And that is also getting reflected into that the European premium on LME metal exchange has come down. So Alcoa, one of the large smelters operating out of Canada, that has already started inquiring and exporting into ex-US market. So that is a kind of disruption which we could see. It is slightly difficult to predict what will be its impact on LME aluminium prices. As we speak, LME aluminium prices are still strong, trading in the range of $2,600 per ton. But if the supply chain disruptions continue, we will have to closely monitor how it translates into LME aluminium prices. As far as Indian aluminium smelters are concerned, as of now, there is directly no visible impact because LME aluminium prices are still strong. And the ex-US market, there is a demand for aluminium, and aluminium prices are finding good support vis-a-vis supply as far as supply is concerned. So that is with respect to aluminium. Coming to steel, the steel dynamics are slightly localized. And for steel also, with the imposition of tariffs in US, the local HRC prices in US will increase vis-a-vis the prices in ex-US market. So that is what we have seen in 2018 also. And once again, this will also put impact on the supply chains of steels. And as we have seen in 2024, China has exported a huge quantum of steel, 100 million tons almost, which is 20% year-on-year growth. And that has already put a lot of pressure on domestic HRC prices. And our exports have also got impacted, and we have become net importer of steel. So as far as steel is concerned, there is a risk that these lower prices could remain at these low levels for quite a bit of period of time unless we get some clarity on how the supply chain situation normalizes.
That was exactly my next question with respect to imports into India. Cheaper imports from China, Vietnam have already been a problem, and Indian industry has already made an application to impose some kind of safeguard duty. Nothing has come through in the budget, but do you expect any announcement anytime soon basis your interaction with the industry?
As far as the safeguard duty is concerned, what we have heard in that JSW Steel conference call was that it is expected in mid-February, but there is no confirmation on that front.
That is not expected to come in. Yes, we did talk to JSW Steel and they expected some kind of announcement or some kind of relief in the first half of February, but that has not actually come through. But any other step you believe that the government can take to tackle the situation when it comes to rising cheaper imports into India?
Looking at. Come again, sorry.
We do understand, we also spoke to JSW Steel and they hinted at some kind of relief in the first half of February. Nothing has come through so far, but any other step that you believe that the government could take anytime soon in the month of February itself?
It's slightly speculative at this point of time. There is no clear-cut indication when that will come. So we will have to wait and see whether any definitive step can be taken from the government side. As of now, there are no indications.
We also had some commentary that came in from global steel major ArcelorMittal, where they say that perhaps we are now at the cyclical low, demand is expected to revive in 2025. What will your thoughts be when it comes to steel demand? Inventory is at lower levels and we are also seeing some restocking take place, especially in European region. Do you expect a demand recovery to come in for steel?
Yeah, you are right. As far as Europe is concerned, there was a kind of a destocking kind of scenario in Europe, and ArcelorMittal has said that they might see some restocking and demand. The actual demand should increase in 2025. As far as domestic Indian scenario is concerned, demand is still good. In the last 1 quarter, we have seen some drop in the demand, but that should pick up as the capex picks up. So overall demand scenario domestically is good, but then again it's a function of Chinese aluminium production and exports. If they continue to export in the vicinity of 10 million tons per month, and if they clock in higher exports in this calendar year also, then again the situation will not be very good for steel prices, and the prices could sustain at these lower levels. So one of the factors for steel prices to find support is that China should either restrict their steel production. So in calendar year 24, we have seen only 2% fall in overall steel production to 1 billion ton in calendar year 24. So 25, we have to see how they pan out their production plans. So if they continue to produce steel and continue to dump the steel and export the steel, and with these tariffs coming in, so that will put the prices in check. Also, one of the factors which I want to highlight is that although the Chinese steel exports to US directly are not very significant, but indirectly, that is steel containing material to US is very significant. And US is one of the largest steel containing material importer, and China is one of the largest contributor to that. So indirectly, although the direct crude or semi-finished or finished steel is not going to from China to US, but steel making the material which contains steel is significant. And if those disruptions in the supply chain happen, there might be some dumping pressure from Chinese steel exports to ex-US market, which is already under stress. So this is the context which we have to look at.
And one last question with respect to steel prices. Reports suggested that Indian steel mills could actually increase prices by 1,000 rupees per ton in the month of February. But now with the latest round of developments that we have seen in, do you see any threat to the price increase that was perhaps, likely to take place in the month of February?
So currently, if I see the steel prices are trading at a 4 to 5% discount to import parity. So there is some amount of what we can say margin or buffer for the steel mills to increase, but it is not significant. Normally, they used to trade at this level of discounts. So if the safeguard duty comes, definitely that differential between the import parity and domestic steel prices will increase substantially. From currently it is trading at a discount of 4 to 5%, that will jump to 20%. And then the steel mills have a lot of opportunity to increase the steel prices. As of now, it is very difficult to say whether the steel mills will be able to pass on the higher prices and they will be able to negotiate those higher prices with the auto sector or other downstream sectors, because there is a pressure from other downstream industries also. So that is also one of the context. Also, the exports are very competitive. The steel which is coming from China is still at a very competitive rate, which is going to Europe and Southeast Asian countries. So, as I've just said, that India has become a net importer of steel. So, overall, given this context, and also what we have to see is the distinguishing between long steel and flat steel. So, flat steel is something which has come under a lot of stress because of this dumping from China. Long steel, as the construction activity has picked up post monsoon, it has started trading at a premium to to flat steel. So we have to see where they can take the price hike. Uh, for HRC flat prices, the price hike, it depends on now all these developments are coming. So it is becoming very tricky area now.
That's the word coming in with respect to price hikes. Aditya, thank you so much for taking your time out and joining us here on ET Now and helping us decode what the implications could be on the latest trade war when it comes to steel and aluminium. But shifting focus to our next segment, did you know? And today we put the spotlight on corn.